back to the channel, and this video I am here with my lovely wife Chelsea, and today we are gonna touch on a little topic that we both suffer from, is depression and anxiety. Also, she has her own channel, and I will throw her link in the description of this video if you want to go check out her videos. I know she's already got a couple videos on her channel talking about it. But I wanted to have my, the way I cope, the way we cope with it, having it together, being married and all that good stuff. So, that being said, a little backstory of myself. I came, when I was about, 10 or 11, my parents had split up. And it was a really hard split. We weren't really in the best financial state. Neither of my parents. My dad better off than my mom. But I decided to stay with my mom, and my brother decided to go with my dad. So, but I had found out that I had depression when I was probably about 13, 12 or 13, somewhere around there. But being from a poor family, there was really no way for me to have anything like medicines or anything to help me with it, so I just had to come up with my own ways of dealing with it. I know later on, probably when I was about 17, I found out that I actually suffered from social anxiety. I don't like being in big crowds. It's better now. But being in high school, I didn't like going to high school because, big crowds, being around a lot of people. I don't like standing up front of, talking in front of people. Even now, I still don't like doing that. Doing these videos, it's helped me a lot. Doing our videos, and I know my wife's helped me quite a bit. I have tried taking medicine for it. It doesn't really seem like it worked. It seemed like it worked for a couple days or for about a month. Then it would get worse, and I would stop taking it, or my doctor would change it, and then I'd feel like crap because those type of medicines give you really bad withdrawals and all that stuff, and it's horrible. So after being on 5 or 6 different kinds in the last 3 years, I've just decided to, hey, you know what, I've dealt with it this long with no help. I was doing better without medicine than being on medicine, so I've just decided to stop taking any kind of medicine for it. I do still have really rough days, and that's just how it is with it. And it's like a fear. You just gotta try to overcome it. Each obstacle is a little bit different than the last, and everybody's story, depression story, anxiety, all that stuff, it's all different. It affects everybody in a different way. I know mine affects me in a different way than it affects her. So that being said, that's kind of a little brief history of mine. So do you want to?
Mine's kind of long.
Well, we got time.
My parents separated when I was 3. Before my brother was even born. My mom had decided she wanted a boy. She wanted us to have the same parents, so she basically just used my dad. And so we were a single parent home for my entire life. My dad was kind of in and out of the picture until I was about 10 or 11, and then he disappeared and I never saw him again. And then he passed away in 2006, I believe. Something like that. He had lupus, and he ultimately had a stroke. That's kind of what started mine, though. That, and then my mom also, during my childhood, went through a really, really bad depression. She would just, like, eat, like, whole tubs of ice cream and just go into her room and shut everybody out. And that was kind of her way of coping. And then when I was 4, my cousin molested me, so that's something that's always kind of been in the back of my mind. And that actually got brought up when I actually did just recently, a few months ago, go see a psychiatrist. And I did take medication. It did help for a while. And then same with him, it's like it kind of felt like, I didn't feel like it was getting worse, I just felt like I was okay without it. I feel like it did give me the reset that I needed, and it did really, really well, I guess. I think mine's just mostly, more than anything, genetic, because my mom had it really bad. And just some of the things that I went through as a child in a single parent home, and being super poor, and just the lifestyle we lived, and then just things that I've gone through as an adult. On my channel, I've talked about my adoption video. I placed one of my first daughter for adoption. It's open. I do see her. He sees her too. And our son Nevin and Graceland, they all love playing together. It's pretty nice, but it was really hard for a while, and I think I wound up getting postpartum depression from that. I haven't really had anxiety. I might have had a little bit of social anxiety, like in high school, but I was never diagnosed with it or anything. But the anxiety for me has kind of happened like within the last year or two. I've never really had it before. And I don't really 100% know what caused it. I've been told there's lots of things that can cause it. The weather can mess with your mind and emotions, and the weather's definitely crazy here in Texas. That's why they say if you don't like the weather, wait a minute and it'll change. So, but I don't know if my dad had depression or anxiety. I know he had an addictive personality, and he was very into drugs and alcohol. So he could have had the same problems, and that may have been the way he coped. I'm not sure, but I think that mine's mostly genetic more than anything. Like I said, I've taken medicine a couple times, and it's helped me. I've had to go to the Pavilion twice, which is an insane asylum, pretty much.
It's a psychiatric hospital.
Yes, psychiatric.
It's not a nut house.
Sorry. But because in 2011, a year after I placed my daughter for adoption, I tried to kill myself. I took a bunch of pills and overdosed. Luckily, my body rejected it, and so I didn't have to get my stomach pumped or anything. But I did go to the Pavilion for about a week, and that really, honestly, that was my biggest wake-up call. I've never gotten so low to feel that way. And if I've ever gotten even close to being that low, I always talk to someone, because I don't want to ever be in that position again, because personally I think that it's selfish to take your own life, because it hurts all your loved ones around you, and it's basically like taking the easy way out, and that's not really fair. So I don't ever want to do that again. I do regret doing that. I do and I don't, because it did bring me to where I am now and how I feel about it. And then I also went to like birth mom retreats and got to meet other birth moms that had placed their babies for adoption, and that was very healing for me as well. And then of course he helps too, sometimes.
So, now there's a kind of a backstory. And what I forgot to mention too is that my mom has really bad depression and anxiety. I lived with her, but we weren't close. It was more like I had a roommate. It's like, since the time I was 13. We lived with, after my parents split up, we lived with my aunt for a little bit. Then we got our own place. And it wasn't really fun. I mean, at the time, you know, being like a 13-year-old kid, you have the house to yourself every day, every night. You know, you get home. I had to come home from school. No one was there. No one was like hardly ever there. My mom was rarely there. She would rather go out and party and drink, and which, you know, I get it. When I separated from, well, not really, me and my son's mom, we ended on good terms with each other. But still, you know, being a newly single person, you want to go out and spread your wings and fly, but having kids with you while you're doing that is probably not a smart idea. I know I wouldn't do it, but we bounced. We could hardly make the rent in any of the places we lived. In a year, we moved 6 times. Luckily, I stayed in the same school district, but still, there was 3 houses that we lived in. We didn't even live in long enough for us to really unpack. We were like there for a month or 2, then we were getting evicted out. Then the way I try to get kind of attention from my mom in like a really negative way. I fell into a wrong group of friends in middle school. I got in a bunch of trouble, like really serious trouble. And I thought, you know, maybe, hey, you know, I start doing that and my mom will start to notice me or whatever. And it never happened. It was only for like a couple days when I was in trouble, and I started using drugs. I started drinking, and by the time it started getting real bad, I was close to 14. Sorry. I was pretty close to 14 years old when I started really drinking heavily, and my brother wasn't a very good influence on me. We were best friends. I mean, ever since we were little, we were best friends. I love my brother to death, but after all the stuff me and him's been through, and I'm not going to get into any of that stuff. I do have some crazy stories about me and him, or us together. If you would like to hear them in like a little sit down video like this, just let me know, comment down. Some of them are really, really, really crazy. But skipping all that stuff, when I turned 18, I decided to essentially grow up. I stopped doing drugs, I stopped drinking, that's about the time I met my son's mom, and it just kind of went on from there. And I've kind of, as the years have gone on, I've matured a lot more. But I think every little action that's happened in my life was kind of a way that I try to cope with it, cope with my anxiety and depression. Because when I was drinking or doing drugs, I felt like hell, like this is it right here. I mean, I don't feel anything, so there's no need to do anything about it. That's the way I coped with it. But after I stopped doing all that stuff, really, even now, music was my passion. I love music ever since I was like a little kid, and that's the way I cope with it now. That's a lot of the way that she can figure out what kind of mood I'm in. So if we're in the car and I'm listening to like a certain genre, and she'll know I'm either pissed off, upset about something, sad, or whatever. That's like today. I mostly listen. We were in the car driving around town with the kids, and I told her like, hey, you know what? We started talking, and I was like, man, you know, I kind of miss my brother. And FYI, my brother's been in jail. He's been locked up since for what, 2 years? A little
Not
over
quite
two.
two- not quite
Almost.
2
It would be
years.
almost 2 years. It'll be a little over 2 years when he gets out in October. But he was on parole. He got in a bunch of bad. When he turned 18, his life went downhill. It was bad. He was hitting. He was doing meth really bad. Always around the wrong type of people. I tried to help him and never really worked out. And just every little thing in every decision that he made led him to where he's at now. The sad thing is that he was sober for 3 years, almost 3 years. Then his ex-wife and them got a divorce, which kind of screwed him up a lot. And because he did everything for his family. He loved his 2 daughters. He loved his wife. And I don't know exactly who. I'm pretty sure it was her that decided that she didn't want to be with him anymore. And that kind of messed him up. And he got involved with another girl a couple months after they separated. And one thing led to another, and he started using again. And one thing led to another, and he violated his probation. And one thing led to another, and now he's in prison. It escalated very quickly. For me, I was happy. It sounds really messed up. I was really happy that he got locked up. My sister was really happy he got locked up. We didn't, at least if he was in jail, we knew he was safe. That's pretty much how the way we looked at it. He was safe, getting help, and getting sober. And now I write to him every now and then, and he's doing a lot better. He's back to the brother I knew when we were kids or teenagers. Stuff like that. Anyways, that was way off topic. I'm sorry. But like the way I cope with my anxiety and depression is I listen to music. If I feel like I'm down and out, whatever, I'll turn some music on. Not like I have like me. I'm a metalhead. I love metal music. So that's what I listen to cope, to get me through the day. Like if I'm having a bad day or anything like that, that's what I point and that's what I listen to. Like the way I cope and the way she copes is 2 different ways. Just like how the way we would cope isn't the same way someone else would cope with it. It's everybody's story is different, and you don't know what people go through on an everyday basis. You don't know what is going on in their lives. You don't know the troubles at home. You don't know what they're having issues at work, or you just don't know what is going on with people. And that's like, you might know someone really well, like you might know one of your coworkers really well, but that's just what's the word, like he's trying to portray himself as a really happy person or whatever, but you don't know what's really going on at home. That's like,
Never judge a book by its cover.
exactly. So I guess that's really.
I have one thing I want to add. I meant to say also that just in the time that him and I have been together, we've been together for 3 years and almost been married for 3 years, and he's done like a complete 360 from what he started at with his depression and anxiety to now. His social anxiety was so bad. When we would go see my family, he'd like have his hands in his pockets and be sweating and shaking and just bad. And now he can be around them just fine. Like, doesn't bother him at all.
That's like now I can go into big crowds and I'm okay. Used to, like, I would have to like pep talk myself when I got to work, and just to make it through the door. Like when I started where I work at now, when I started, I didn't really talk to anybody for a good 6 months, 7 months, 8 months, maybe longer. I don't know. I knew a couple guys out there that knew my dad, and you know, every now and then I would kind of like, oh hey, hi, you know, that. But that's really all it went to. Now I'm a totally different person. I don't talk to everybody because there's people that I just don't jive with. So just like everybody, you just don't get along with everyone. I mean, that's just the way it is. But I know that's just kind of like a little skim off the top. If you like it, this video, that's cool. If you want, you know, a more in-depth like way, or like how we deal with it, what we do to deal with it, all that stuff. And also I thought it would be pretty cool to have the people watching my videos know like who I am, not just some guy on their computer screen or on their phone or their tablet or whatever, not just some random guy. I would like to have a good connection with all you guys. So if y'all have anything that y'all want to add to this, anything that I didn't touch on, just leave me a comment. I'll probably make another video, a little sit down video like this, probably in a couple months, maybe a month, and touch on a couple more other things. It's kind of hard to sit down and do this stuff when you have kids everywhere.
Yeah, and now we've got an extra 4 staying in our house, so that makes 6. It's been in that house.
Yeah, but it's for a good cause. I'm always down to help somebody out. But I guess the one last thing that I want to end on is, if you ever feel down, ever feel like you're worthless, because I know how it feels to feel that way. I grew up my entire life being told that I'm worthless, that I should have been aborted, I should have been adopted, I should have been placed for adoption, all that stuff. I know how it is. If you feel that way, you feel like you need to talk to somebody, you know, shoot me your email or whatever, or I mean, I'm on Twitter, I have a Facebook page, or anything. Just whatever, comment down below, or you can find, I'll put all my stuff down in the description. If you feel like you don't have anyone to talk to, I'm always there for people that are either new or need help or don't have anyone to talk to.
And you can also talk to me on my channel as well. But definitely there's a lot of people that don't talk about depression and anxiety, and it really needs to be talked about.
Yes.
And it needs to come to your attention and realize that that's what's going on. And some people might need medicine to reset their bodies. It doesn't mean it's forever.
Yep.
You just gotta do what you gotta do, and you gotta get help from someone.
See, like she said, she took it and it was like a reset. Me, it wasn't for me. Everybody's different. Some people might need to be on it. Some people might not be. Some people might need it just to, like, you know, have a mental reset. I mean, it just all depends on how bad yours is and just how it is. I mean, there's 1,000 different things that it could be. You know, I mean, I'm not a doctor, so I'm just saying personal experience. But I just want to end on telling you that you are amazing, you are worth it, and if you're ever feeling down, just remember that there is always someone out there that loves you, that cares for you, and wants to see you succeed at doing anything you want. Just remember that, and that will get you through anything. So, on that note, we'll go ahead and say goodbye, and I hope everybody has a wonderful day, or had a wonderful day, or has a wonderful day tomorrow, and I'll see y'all in the next video.